everybody, welcome to the 𝐂𝐲𝐻 Way. I'm Jessica. Today's video is going to be all of the resources that we're going to be using for world history and world geography this upcoming homeschool year. Now, I am undecided whether this is going to be one full credit, so like half a credit of world history, half a credit of world geography for a credit of world history and geography, or if world history is going to be a credit and world geography is going to be a credit, like one and one. The reason I'm undecided is I'm not really sure how much time this is all going to take. So basically what I'm planning to do is keep a running log of everything that we do, and I'm going to keep a world history and a world geography. I'm going to keep them separate, and then at the end of the year we'll see how it plays out, how many hours we've spent in each, and whether I'm just going to combine the two for one credit or let each of them stand alone for a credit. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, I will link my high school planning video up here for you to watch. But basically, I'm just not sure. I mean, I know I'm going to track it the same. I just don't know what I'm going to equate it to yet. It will be world history and world geography. Whether that's one title for one credit or whether that's two titles, a credit apiece, is the part I'm unsure about. The resources that we're going to be using regardless. Okay. So for the backbone part of world history, so like the thing that we're going to be doing, basically it's going to be the spine of it, is going to be the Watch and Learn World History. So this is based off of the Crash Course YouTube video. And so I think we're going to do this 2 days a week, and we will basically be reading, watching a video, and responding. And this is going to be kind of like the spine for world history. So the timeline that this follows is the timeline that we will follow for any other history add-ons that I want to do. And like, for example, if I want to add in some of the discovery decks, like the Stone Age or ancient Rome, we also have ancient Greece, ancient Egypt, we have Middle Ages, Vikings and Valhalla. So any of those that I want to add in, I will add them in as they kind of come up in this. So for example, when they're in the Stone Age or when they're in the Middle Ages is when I would add in any extra discovery deck cards that kind of tie into that. I mean, it doesn't have to be exact, but for example, I'm not going to strew American history when she's learning about ancient. Probably, I'm more than likely not. Also, my plan is to include quite a few who was and what were books and mini units along with it. So for example, when we're in the time frame of Julius Caesar, I will probably have her read this, or we will read it depending on how it plays out, and we'll do the mini unit. Same thing when we get to some of these other ones like Joan of Arc or Ferdinand Magellan, or a what was or whatever. But for the most part, the Watch and Learn is the timeline that we're going to follow through the entire world history course that we're doing. The same thing is going to apply to geography. So we are going to be combining traveling the world, basically 1, and traveling the world 2. And we're combining them in the sense that like when we do Europe, we're going to do all of the countries from 1 and 2. When we do North America, we'll do the countries from 1 and 2. So we're basically going to be going, in order, continent by continent, and we'll be combining them and doing all of them at the same time. So the same thing kind of goes along with this. Whatever continent we're in, I will try to tie as many things together as possible. So for example, when we're in Asia is when we would read, where is the Great Wall? And that's when we would do the mini unit to go along with it. When we get to South America, that's when we would read where is Machu Picchu, and we would do the mini unit to go along with it. So again, traveling the world, 1 and 2, and then we will be weaving in the who, what, where units depending on how that works out. Am I trying to line up history and geography? No, not really. We're basically treating them as two separate. We're following a specific history timeline, and then we're just going to go continent by continent in the traveling the world. For traveling the world, I will also be using the Legendary Landmarks Discovery deck. So that is kind of like the basis for those. We will be doing Watch and Learn World History with mini units in the decks, and then traveling the world 1 and 2 with mini units in the decks. For reference books, the things that I have pulled to go along with them. Obviously, we have Eat Your Way Around the World, Global Art, and the travel book. These are the 3 resources that are required for traveling the world. So obviously we will be using all of these, and it will help us make recipes and learn more and do some art and all of that. So those will be in addition to traveling the world. As part of our morning basket, but is also going to be part of our world history, is the major events that happen in world history. So this is 50 defining moments from ancient civilization to the modern day. Like I said, this is a part of our morning basket. Am I going to try to keep this lined up with the world history she'll be doing for Watch and Learn? I'm going to try, but we're only doing morning basket 3 times a week. She's going to do that 2 times a week. So if it's not perfect, I'm going to just be okay with that. We also have timelines of world history as far as a reference book, and I really like this. The different timelines and the way it kind of goes through everything. It's from the Stone Age to the Millennium. And then this series is one that I've always really liked. So we have a street through time, a child through time, and a city through time. And what I like about it is that it shows like literally what it says. So we have like the story of a city, the Greek colony, a temple, citizens of Rome, the medieval city, and it just kind of goes through all of those things, and you can see it change throughout history. And I think that's really neat, and I also think it is a really great way to relate like the history of things to kids, because every kid or child and person or whoever like can relate to a city. They can relate to a street, obviously, and then they can relate through a child. So you have just all of these different, like this is a child in Rome, and then we'll go all the way to a child living in the 16th century in Timbuktu. And again, relatable. So those are 3 reference books that we'll be using. I also thought that this was really cool. We had the sticker version of this years and years and years ago. This is the Big History Timeline wall book though. So it is a 6-foot timeline inside. So it's hardback, and when you open it up, it's like, let me try to open the right, so it goes this way. Okay, here we go. It's 6-foot timeline. Like, oh, it's really big. So I thought that would be a neat way to see like the different things happening all around the world and see it on a actual timeline. So I have that for us to reference. For books, in addition to the who, what, where books, I did pick one read aloud for each continent. Most of these were Newbery Medal Award either winners or nominees, and they're books that I really wanted her to read before she left my homeschool. So I have Call It Courage, which is the book that we're going to be reading when we do Oceania from Traveling the World. Secret of the Andes, which will be when we're doing South America. A Single Shard, that one will be for Asia. Number the Stars, which will be for Europe. Esperanza Rising, which will be for North America. A Long Walk to Water, which will be for Africa. And then I did go ahead and grab, even though Antarctica is not included in Traveling the World, we are working on Where is Antarctica, so that we can still do an Antarctica mini unit during our traveling. So I did grab Lost in the Antarctic for an Antarctic read aloud as well. So those are just books that we'll be doing during our morning basket time that we will be reading while we're in that continent in Traveling the World, and then that's just going to kind of all be part of it. Okay, now to the games, because let's be honest, that's the best part. The first small stack that I have are trivia-based games. We like to play trivia during dinner. It's something that we've done for years. Some of them we don't play exactly the way that they say for you to play them. We kind of just play in a way of one of us asks the question to the group. Whoever gets it right gets to keep the card. Whoever has the most cards at the end of dinner is the winner for that night. And we've done that for as long as I can remember. So 2 that I picked up that I thought would be kind of great additions is Who Knows History Better, which is a trivia-based game, and Who Knows Geography Better. Both of these are going to be great dinner time games. We really like Mount Cleverest, and this is the Geography edition. We also have the Guess in 10. So Guess in 10 has like the countries and landmarks. So we'll probably do those. And then Professor Noggin, we own every Professor Noggin that's ever been made. So I will pull these out. So for example, this is the ancient deck. So like when we first begin world history, I'll pull the ancient deck out. And then when we get from world history into, or from ancient into medieval, I'll pull the medieval deck out. And then we'll just continue like that through all of the different Professor Noggin historical decks, as well as like countries of the world and things like that. So again, these are like dinner time trivia games that we will play. And then I also have Around the World Flux. Timeline Twist. The World Game. Flag Frenzy. Chronology. This is A Passport to Culture, the travel edition. So kind of all over the world. We have Explore the World, a game of who, where, and what. Oh, this is kind of heavy. We have Trekking the World. We have Trekking Through History. And then the last one we have is Traveling the World Pursuit, the board game. And then I did get a few specific subscriptions to go along with this, one of which is History Unboxed. I handpicked like 4 to 5 different boxes. Like for example, the Ming Dynasty I know was one. I think there was a Julius Caesar box that I picked, but like I handpicked 4 or 5. I think so actually it may have been 6 specifically, and I bought single boxes, and so they're not here yet. But I did grab a couple of those just to kind of go along with the world history. And like I said, I picked kind of like, okay, here's like I went through and I was like, okay, if we're doing this for, 40 weeks or whatever lessons, and I just kind of picked like every 3 to 5 weeks, I picked a box that would go well with it. And then I renewed because we had let our Universal Yums go last year. So I did renew our Universal Yums so that we could have snacks from around the world while we were in fact traveling the world. This is everybody's favorite. So I did move from the small box to the medium box so that we would have a few more snacks this time around. And we have a teenager now. We didn't have one of those before, and she will eat us out of house and home. And Kevin and I will not get to try any of the snacks. So we increased our box size. And then I also reactivated our subscription to Letters from Afar. I actually did this about 7 or 8 months ago because I knew we were going to be doing world geography this year, and I've been collecting letters. So we haven't opened any of these. So there will be a surprise, but that way I kind of have like a backlog of them to go through. So we're not just waiting for one every month when we do our Mealtime Monday. So Letters from Afar specifically because they are world geography based. So that is all of the resources that I have on hand for our world history and world geography courses this upcoming homeschool year. And if you have an amazing resource that I missed, please let me know down in the comments.